Happiness is one of the most constant pursuits of the human being. From an early age, we learn to believe that it is always connected to something we still lack. An achievement, a change, recognition, or a better phase of life. We grow up hearing that we will be happy when everything is finally resolved, when we reach a certain place, when we achieve what we desire. But time passes, goals change, achievements come in, yet many people still feel empty. This happens because we were taught to search outside for what can only be built within. Gratitude appears as an invitation to change this perspective, not as a magical formula or a denial of reality, but as a conscious posture toward life. Being grateful does not mean ignoring problems, pretending everything is fine, or romanticizing pain. It means recognizing that even in the midst of difficulties, there are still elements that sustain our existence and give meaning to the journey. When we practice gratitude, we begin to notice what once went unnoticed. The simple act of waking up, breathing, walking, learning something new, or receiving a kind gesture takes on a different value. The mind, which was once focused on what is missing, slowly opens itself to presence. Little by little, we stop living only for the future and begin to inhabit the present with greater awareness. Science has already shown that gratitude has real effects on emotional well-being. People who cultivate this habit tend to experience less anxiety, more emotional balance, and a stronger sense of purpose. This happens because gratitude reorganizes our thoughts. Instead of constantly asking, "What is missing?" we begin to ask, "What already exists?" This shift may seem simple, but it profoundly transforms the way we relate to life. One of the greatest obstacles to happiness is comparison. We live in a society that constantly encourages comparison, where we are exposed all the time to other people's achievements, images, and narratives. Comparison creates dissatisfaction, a sense of being behind, and so gratitude breaks this cycle because it brings us back to our own story. It reminds us that each person has a unique rhythm, process, and path. Practicing gratitude does not require elaborate rituals. It begins with small, daily gestures. Upon waking, acknowledging something positive, even if it is simple. At the end of the day, reflecting on what was learned rather than focusing only on what went wrong. Over time, this exercise becomes an emotional habit. The mind naturally begins to seek what builds rather than what drains. Gratitude also transforms the way we relate to other people. When we are grateful for the presence of others, we develop more empathy, patience, and understanding. Instead of focusing only on flaws, we begin to recognize efforts, intentions, and the value of human connection. This does not eliminate conflict, but it makes relationships more conscious and authentic. Another essential aspect is gratitude toward ourselves. Being thankful for our body, our story, our attempts, our mistakes, and our growth. When we recognize our own value, we stop living under constant self-criticism and begin to build a healthier self. Happiness stops depending solely on external results and starts to rest on respect for who we are becoming. It is important to understand that there will be difficult days. Days when gratitude feels impossible. In those moments, gratitude does not need to be grand. It can be quiet. It can simply be the recognition that you endured, that you continued, that you did not give up. Sometimes, being grateful is simply staying. The happiness built through gratitude is not euphoric or constant, but it is real and sustainable. It does not depend exclusively on external circumstances because it is born from an inner posture. It is not about denying pain, but about not allowing pain to become the only narrative of life. Over time, gratitude expands our capacity to feel joy in simple things, to find meaning in everyday life, and to recognize value in the process, not just in the final result. And when that happens, happiness stops being a distant promise and becomes an experience that is possible in the present. In the end, gratitude teaches us that happiness is not something we need to conquer, but something we learn to allow. It emerges when we choose to look at life with more presence, respect, and kindness. And it is within this sincere recognition that happiness finds space to grow quietly, deeply, and truly,